24, 2023, Wednesday, April 19, 2023, and also posted on the district website. Would you please stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Baracci. Here. Mr. Conti. Here. Mrs. Norfleet. Here. Mrs. Papp. Here. Mrs. Popso. Here. Mr. Sullivan. Mrs. Wainwright. Here. Mr. Nutter. Here. Dr. Skinner. Here. We have a quorum.
May I have a motion and a second for the approval of the agenda, please? Oh, motion by Papp. Second by Wainwright. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will. Okay, before we do our student presentations, the focus for tonight is to do our budget presentation for the 23-24 school year. Mr. Gupta has the presentation on the screens for those that want to follow along. In regards to our 22-23 school year in review, Mr. Gupta, if you could please change to the next slide. Thank you. Our focus this year has been in regards to data-driven decisions, focusing on post-COVID re-entry in our learning loss and social-emotional needs, maintaining our class size and maximizing opportunities for our students, rolling out of expanded course offerings here at the high school and at Riverfront, rolling out and expanding our current technology and resources, and capital projects that were created within the local budget. Those included opportunities for some of our flooring at Roebling. We also did some other security updates through our technology, additional cameras, and additional staffing. So just some highlights of some of our different events from this school year. So when we start looking at the 23-24 school year, we began our budget planning back in November, a review of where we started seeing our students and also identifying some of our academic gaps and concerns. Looking at it as well, we have seen an increase, as everyone is nationally, and we've seen an increase of some of our behavioral concerns, and we want to make sure that we are addressing that as we plan for next school year. So we have identified in each of the buildings a behavioral assessment team, including our administrators, staff, and counseling. We also want to make sure that we expand in opportunities for our ESS counselors and our YAP counselors down at the elementary school. New textbook series is also included and needed for our language arts department in grades 7 through 12. We know that smaller class sizes benefit our students. We want to maintain our class sizes, again, maximizing opportunities for our students. Included in the budget is 4 additional staff members in the special education department, an additional history teacher here at the high school, and we are also able to replace all of our staff that are retiring or have since resigned. We're also looking to expand our capital projects within the local budget, again, addressing some of the needs that were not addressed in the previous referendum. So looking at our professional development opportunities, again, we want to make sure that we focus on our future ready initiatives of technology and aligning that to an appropriate means to enhance our curriculum. Also continuing to revise the curriculum for compliance and pacing adjustments that we have now seen in some of our students and needs of academic gaps as a result of COVID. Safety and security updates and adjustments, and then a rollout of our years 3 through 5 for our strategic plan were all included in the budget. Mr. Leon?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ambrosius. It's important that everyone understands that tonight's budget presentation is simply a culmination of a lot of teamwork over a long period of time. I would like to recognize some of the stakeholders involved in that process. In the back of the room are the budget managers, better known as the school administrators, who are responsible for their own individual budgets. We instituted a new budget software application this year, and I know this was a newer process, and I hope they gained a valuable insight and ownership of their own budget. Next, I'd like to recognize the Board Finance Committee and thank them for the guidance as the budget was developed and revised. Finally, I'd like to recognize Dr. Ambrosius and our former Business Administrator, Luis Valencia. They were really the architects that built the framework of this budget, as I was hired mid-year into December and finished up the budget. Slide 1. So I have a few slides here, and they show a bunch of numbers, but the main takeaway from the presentation is that we will continue to offer the high-level education that this community has grown accustomed to, and Dr. Ambrosius highlighted in the previous slides. In a nutshell, budget is made up of expenditures and revenues. The majority of our revenues are comprised of local taxes, state aid, and surplus generated from a prior year's budget. We were fortunate this budget year to receive over $800,000 in additional state aid funding. But I'd like to take this opportunity to caution the board. As budgets get tighter, it is more difficult to generate the third major item of the revenue sources, which is surplus from a prior year. My point in bringing this up is that you see on this slide that we increased our dependency on the surplus by over $800,000 from last year. As future budgets are developed, this dependency needs to decrease, which will mean a leaner budget in future years. And then what I also like you to note is that our revenue budget for next year is $34,541,134. And the importance is, Mr. Gupta, if you can go to the next slide, if you look at the appropriations, the total appropriations on slide 2 is $34,541,134, and that is a balanced budget. You will see on the expenditures, or also known as appropriation slide, that next year's budget amounts to what I just mentioned and is equivalent to the revenue budget. The two main highlights from this slide are that district salaries and benefits are the majority of the expenditure budget, and the district is budgeting more towards capital projects, which is an investment in the future of our buildings and grounds, which Dr. Ambrosius also highlighted in previous slides. Mr. Gupta, next slide, please. The last slide is the district's debt service, which is like a home mortgage. You see that the debt service amount decreased, and that is due to the refunding of school bonds at a better interest rate in fiscal year 2021. At the end of the day, Florence Township taxpayers will see a decrease in annual school taxes in the amount of $33.39 for the average priced home of $221,516. And that concludes. Mr. Gupta, next slide. Thank you very much. And do I have any, or does Dr. Ambrosius and I have any questions from the board? Decrease is good.
So may I have a motion and a second, please, for the adoption of the 23-24 budget?
Motion.
Motion by Barachi,
Second.
second by Conti. Roll call, please.
Ms. Barachi,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet, Ms. Paff, Ms. Popso,
Yes.
Ms. Wainwright, Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Student body rep?
Good evening, everyone. The high school has been very busy lately. In the beginning of the month, Student Council put together a Spring Break Spirit Week, which started on April 3rd and ran through April 6th. The days consisted of Monday, April 3rd, Celebrate Autism Awareness, wear red, blue, or butterflies. Tuesday, April 4th, Disney/Character Day. Wednesday, April 5th, Country Club versus Country. And Thursday, April 6th, Bikers versus Surfers. There was also a class versus class volleyball game. The senior class was crowned the volleyball champions. Student Council is also planning special treats for our wonderful high school staff for Staff Appreciation Week from May 8th to the 12th. The junior class is hosting a skating party on Thursday, April 27th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Students have a few more days to turn in a permission slip and check or money order for $10 to Mr. Barga in the counseling office. The snack bar and arcade will be open. Students can bring their own skates or rent them for an additional $5. Student Interact will be hosting a community blood drive on May 22nd from 2:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Interact members also assisted with festivities at opening day for the township softball and baseball programs. Members of the group served as face painters and applied temporary tattoos at the event. Interact members also prepared 100 lunches for the Trenton Area Soup Kitchen. Each lunch included a sandwich, bottled water, granola bar, a fruit cup, and a fruit snack, as well as included inspirational cards in each bag. The Black and Latinx Student Union and No Place for Hate clubs volunteered at the soup kitchen, helping to prepare lunch for the clients. The Florence Athletic Office will be having their senior signing day on May 4th at 1 p.m. They will be congratulating these following seniors: Jamil Horn, Matt Conti, Chris Krog, Dylan Cochran, Cody Martin, Darius Bland Johnson, Chloe Zomp, Madison Jobs, and Aiden McIntosh. National Honor Society has invited eligible sophomores and juniors to apply for membership. Students must complete an essay, complete teacher recommendations, and participate in an interview. The induction ceremony for the selected students will be held on May 25th at 6 p.m. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
All right. Now, the reason why I think most of you are here this evening is to see our recognition of our students. If we want to start with the high school, Mr. Hogan.
So it's my pleasure to call up Benjamin Popso as our student month of March. Round of applause for that. All right, without further ado, I think Mr. Group is going to play a video that Ben put together.
Benjamin Popso on the student one for March. One of the aspects of our high school that I appreciate the most is the genuine dedication of our teachers. They're not only committed to teaching the curriculum, but they also take the time to connect with me personally and provide me with the confidence to pursue my future collegial goals. Many of my teachers are always available to offer extra support outside of regular class hours, and their efforts to deepen my understanding of the subjects we study have given me invaluable insights into what I want to pursue in the future. Computer science is unequivocally my preferred field of study. As an individual who possesses a proclivity for analytical and mathematical reasoning, I find the amalgamation of these skills within the discipline of computer science to be fascinating. The intricacies of problem solving in this study and the application of creative thought complement my intellectual curiosity. Furthermore, while I appreciate the straightforward nature of mathematics, where solutions are either entirely correct or incorrect, the nuance and complexity of computer science are even more compelling. The field allows for thousands of pathways to reach the same conclusion, which fosters creativity and facilitates novel problem-solving approaches. I'm deeply interested in the broad nature of this field, which affords me the opportunity to explore numerous areas of interest while also acknowledging that the discipline demands a rigorous and tenacious pursuit. Beyond my academic pursuits, I actively engage in a diverse range of hobbies and interests that enrich my personal growth and broaden my perspective on life. Primarily, I'm a pianist who derives great joy from playing and teaching the piano. Spending time with my cherished friends and family is also of great importance to me. As a devout Christian, I regularly attend church, engaging in studying the Bible and commit myself to Jesus. Additionally, I find enjoyment in cooking, which provides me with the ability to hone my culinary skills and creativity. In terms of physical activity, I relish playing tennis, volleyball, and working out, all of which help me stay fit. Lastly, I participate in a variety of clubs that cater to my varied interests and provide a platform to learn. My plans for life after Florence Township entail pursuing a bachelor's or master's degree in the field of computer science with a long-term goal of delving into patent law. With an unwavering commitment to my discipline, I am determined to establish a company in the domain of computer science, leveraging my future expertise to make a substantial impact in the industry. However, my ambitions extend beyond my professional endeavors. I aspire to potentially become a pastor with the vision of planting churches across the globe, continually strengthening my faith. As I work toward these goals, I remain deeply committed to fostering a holistic sense of growth, one that not only enriches my own life, but also benefits the world around me. Thank you.
So very, very quickly, he didn't quite mention all of this because he's also very humble. But very quickly, Ben's also the captain of the tennis blows my mind from time to time to see what parents and teachers and hard work will result in the course of 4 years. Because when you listen to him, you look through his answers, and when you look at him and when you talk to him, it's amazing because he's such a role model for our kids. He's such a hard worker. He's someone that we're all so proud of. And I could go on, and I couldn't. But one more round of applause for Beth Hoffman.
Thank you and congratulations. Raquel Farrow?
It is my honor and privilege to introduce our student month at Riverfront for Teacher Badge. This is a very brief video to show you all and then we'll brag about it.
I'm the 8th grade. I'm the March student of the month. I'm living volleyball and involved in honors. I've been involved in the Florence marching band for 2 years. I'm involved in many sports activities such as being president of the National Student Honor Society. I was president of the Super Water team. I was also one of the state members of the district music team. Some other things I like to do outside of school is hang out with friends and spend more time with them. I was excited and definitely shocked, but I'm grateful I accomplished it. My favorite subject in school was happening science because it's so easy. I was on my other subjects, and this topic excites me because there's just so much to learn. My favorite memory was actually the one year of science because I never remember how much I was fun, and I can go that much fun. I tend to construct more challenging and making some high academic performance. I plan on doing more development activities. I'm going to continue being involved with the marching band. Hopefully I'll be accepted into the National Honor Society. I plan on learning fast, meeting new people, and I'm excited to fun memories. I enjoy learning about medicine and science, so hopefully I'll become in the medical field, either in pediatrics or anesthesiology. I would advise individuals to work hard, try their best, stay focused, and have fun, but also choose your events wisely and don't learn from crowds. I enjoy learning the fact that the school year is almost over and maybe learn how to do what else to do, and I'm excited to end the school year as a
So this young lady is just a phenomenal all-around teacher. You heard about all the activities involved, whether it's robotics, whether it's helping out with the play. She also is the president of our National Junior Honor Society. So in this video, she said, "Oh, I was shocked when I found out that I was student mom." This young lady's grade point average for all of her grades behind is literally at 99.3. She is a phenomenal student. Anything that she puts her mind to, she's going to accomplish. So give this young lady another round of applause.
All right, congratulations. Now, Mrs. Agresta. Highlight our youngest.
So this month, our Manor Banner winner is Miss Cobley's class. And that really says a lot. A lot of the kids in her class are tiny, they're the tiniest kids in the school. And so for them to get this award is because of you parents. You've taught your kids to be respectful, kind students, but also Ms. Cobley and Ms. Winters do a wonderful job in teaching them the routines of the school and how we treat each other and the expectations. So, let me show you the video of their class.
about Norman School?
I like the manager and the acting and I hate the professor even when I take the fish.
What do you love about Miss Conley's class?
I love Miss Conley because she always is perfect. I love Miss Burgess because she always is perfect. But Miss Conley because she always but I love Mrs. Winter because she always finds people's shoes.
How does your class strive for 5?
I just play twice. Now we building, now we disappear. Then I say.
And what else do you do to be kind?
I just hug for my foot and I get high five. I share toys.
When you share toys, what does that make you? Makes you kind. That's right. Great job. Congratulations, Miss Cobley's class.
Miss Winters, do you want to come too? I figure you guys work hand in hand all the time. You gotta come together. Great, you ready? Scarlett. Charlotte. Spencer. Gabby. Kate. Egan. Aiden. Claire. Zoe. Arham. And Lamar. We have one more round of applause for this one. A little while, we're going to take a picture, okay? Hold out to the parents.
All right. At this time, I would ask the president for a 5-minute recess so we can get some pictures of our adorable children. 5 minutes?
Meetings Act, the board will not publicly discuss personnel matters. This portion of the meeting is not a question and answer session. The board will not respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the board will give all comments appropriate consideration and will refer all individual complaints to the superintendent of schools or administration for resolution. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration and not to exceed a total of 30 minutes. May I have a motion and a second to open Community Forum 1?
Motion?
Motion by Conti. Second. Second by Popso. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're good? Okay.
The public has no comment.
Because Mary Ellen's good. May I have a motion and a second to close Community Forum 1?
That's perfect.
Motion.
Motion by
Keep her
Barachi.
around.
Okay, now that was a wave of seconds. Second by Pep.
I heard Pat.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. May I have a motion and a second, please, for the acknowledgement of the receipt of the emergency drill report of March, enrollment report of March, suspension report, and HIB reports of April.
Motion.
Motion by Barachi,
Second?
second by Conti. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. May I have a motion and a second, please, to approve the minutes of the March 20th work session and the March 20th closed session? Motion by Pat,
Second?
second by Conti. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then I'm sorry, I missed it. May I have a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of March 27th? Motion and a second.
Motion.
Motion by Nutter,
Second?
second by Conti. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I need a motion and a second to affirm the harassment, intimidation, and bullying decisions. Motion by Pat. Second by, was that
Second by Popso.
Second by Popso. Any questions?
Just to clarify, for the March 27th, there were 0 reports for high school, Roebling, and Riverfront. So the affirming is affirming that there were none.
The affirming is affirming.
Okay.
No one
Any
opposed to it.
questions about affirming? None. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. So we're doing B1 through B7. Yes. Okay, the next one is a very long one. Several pages of business. So I would like, please, a motion and a second for business B01 through B07.
Motion.
Motion by Nutter,
Second.
second by Wainwright.
No, it's Popso.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was Wainwright. My apologies. Any questions?
That was all the way down through 9.
Okay, all in favor?
Number 7.
Any
Through 7.
opposed? Thank you. Curriculum and instruction, I'd like a motion and a second, please, for C01 homebound, C02 field trips, and C03 field trips. Okay, who moved first?
Pat and then Wayne. Okay, sorry.
Motion by Pep, second by Popso. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Did you want to?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like now for the long-range facility plan, a motion and a second for LRFP 01 A and B.
Motion.
Motion by Barachi,
Second.
Second by Nutter.
Yep.
Any questions?
To clarify the long-range facility plan, if you recall, when we did the referendum, we had submitted proposed updates to the facilities, all three buildings, including and additional is transportation, to do an updated long-range facilities plan. This is including what is in the local budget of the replacement of the Roebling fire alarm, and then also to participate in the ROD grant through the Riverfront School and the Roebling School to update the door lock replacements for both buildings.
Okay, any other questions? Any comments? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Personnel, I'm going to take them all separately and do roll calls for each. So I have personnel P01 for leaves, resignations, and appointments. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Conti, second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
P02, appointments, extended school year program, 23-24. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion, please.
Second.
Motion by Conti, second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Personnel report number 3, reappointment of certified and non-certified staff, FTEA. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Conti. Second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Abstain.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
May I have a motion and a second for personnel report number 4, reappointment certified, non-certified staff, FTSSA for 23-24.
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
P05, personnel report, reappointment of certified FTAA staff for 23-24. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
P06, personnel report for the reappointment of certified grant-funded staff for 23-24. May I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
P07, approval of substitute bus driver pay and EDP summer bus rate. May I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
P08, Personnel Report, number 8, new appointments, certified and non-certified for the 23-24 school year. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Personnel Report number 9, approval of emergent hires. May I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
P10, Personnel Report number 10, approval of EDP Summer Camp Staff 2023. May I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
P11, Personnel Report number 11, reappointment of central office staff for the 23-24 school year. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions? Seeing none.
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner. Motion carries.
P12, approval of substitute rate for the school nurse. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Motion by Conti,
Second.
second by Barachi. Any questions?
Ms. Barachi.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes, please.
Ms. Norfleet. Ms. Papp. Ms. Popso. Ms. Wainwright. Mr. Nutter.
Yes.
Dr. Skinner. Motion carries.
Public comment. 2, members of the public are invited to submit any general comments during this public comment portion of the meeting. The board, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, will not publicly discuss personnel matters. This portion of the meeting is not a question and answer session. The board will not respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the board will give all comments appropriate consideration and will refer all individual complaints to the superintendent of schools or administration for resolution. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes duration and not to exceed a total of 30 minutes. I have a motion and a second to open Community Forum 2. Motion by Papp. Second by Wainwright. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing no comment, may I have a motion and a second to close Community Forum 2? Motion by Nutter. Oh, that was a tie. Second by Barachi. All in favor? Okay. We're not, we don't have.
Nope, dispense, we do not have closed executive session.
So then may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting at 7:15 PM? Motion by Barachi, second by Nutter. All in favor? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.